We've got a sponsor. Europe's best football is back this summer for the Euros. Avoid a Marouane Fellaini bush in your midfield and clean up your midsection with Manscaped, proud sponsors of Up the Villa podcast. Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new, please subscribe. You will literally help this channel grow massively, and drop this video a like. Our like target, we'll go with 130. We've hit it before, so we'll smash it again. So I have assembled the Avengers. I have assembled the Aston Villa content creators to come on board and have their say on all things England and how they see England progressing into the tournament and their thoughts on England and Ukraine. But I'll go first. So we will not get a better opportunity to reach a major final. I know that every football match in international football is very, very difficult, and we can't sort of just think we're going to breeze past these teams. They are going to pose different challenges on each one, but like I say, I think we've got a brilliant opportunity. I'm still buzzing about England v Germany. It's very difficult as an England fan to watch sometimes, and it was just so nice to get one over a big nation and put in such a commanding performance. I think, yes, there's been a lot of criticism of Southgate, but I think he got it spot on, and I hope that he now can have the whole nation behind him and he can take us forward into the later stages of this tournament. I think I'd probably maybe drop one of the centre-backs for this one. I think we now have to believe and trust in Southgate in what he's doing, and I think, like, game by game, it shows that we can just mix it up a little bit, and every player that's going to come on and step in can do a massive job for this squad as well. For me, Jack Grealish got a start. I think, he's come on, he's had his cameos, he's delivered every time. He's got 2 assists for the tournament now. I've got a 5 on him to be player of the tournament as well, and that cash out is now building, so I'm buzzing about that as well. So the more minutes he gets, hopefully I can get a little bit more money as well. So like I say, I've assembled the Avengers. Let's have their thoughts and their say on England and how they see the tournament progressing. Take it away.
Hello, Up the Villa podcast. Dan Bardell and my dog Tebow here to talk about England. Both absolutely delighted with yesterday still. I thought it was a really astute performance from England, and for all the criticism Southgate was getting pre-match, you've got to say that, to be fair, he got absolutely everything spot on. Formation, players that started the game. We all know what Jack Grealish is about. We all are desperate for him to start for England, but having him as the 12th man yesterday, that was what swung the momentum and swung the game in England's favour, so you can't argue with it. And I really do feel at the moment that football might actually come home. We've got a decent pathway. It would feel typical to beat Germany and then lose to Ukraine. Ukraine won't be easy. I think they'll sit back, and they seem to be the games that we've struggled with a little bit so far, if you think back to that Scotland game. But we have got a fantastic squad. We've got a streetwise squad, a squad that's really switched on as well, which I think is something England haven't had over the years. It feels like we've got different players for different games as well, which I think probably sets us apart from some of the other teams. You look at the Italy team. Yes, they've got a couple of players that they could change. I'd probably make them overall the favourites at the moment. But if it's an Italy-England final, which is what I think it could be, I think England again would have the options from the bench and they'd be able to make them changes. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. There's a long way to go before we can even start thinking about that. But I'm really impressed with England so far. To have conceded no goals in 4 games, whoever you're playing, that's fantastic, and it's rare, and we have got the best defence in the tournament at the moment. I think I'd like to see us stay with 3 at the back with that in mind. I thought Walker, Stones and Maguire complemented each other excellently. I thought the wing-backs were strong, and actually when you think about Phillips and Rice as well, being on bookings for pretty much the whole game, Rice especially, I thought they equipped themselves really well as well. So as I say, we're a strong side. There's a fantastic chance that we can go and do something that we haven't done in probably most people that are watching this video's lifetime. We certainly haven't done it in my lifetime, and yeah, I'm excited. Villa on the up, England on the up. Football's coming home, hopefully.
England, well, where do I start? I suppose it's got to be the win over Germany, hasn't it? I mean, for me, I was in the pub with my mates watching the game, and it just felt like a relief after so many years of watching England lose against higher profile opponents in knockout stage football. it just felt like such a relief to go and beat the Germans, and I thought we've got to give Gareth Southgate, obviously the an ex-Villa defender, and now the England boss, a little bit of praise. It feels like he's come under quite a lot of criticism during the group stages, just because of the way England were playing. They haven't been quite as attractive on the eye as maybe some supporters would have wanted. But the thing that I've been saying throughout this whole tournament is that we haven't conceded a goal. And I think it's 7 games now, going back to some of the warm-up games as well, that England haven't conceded. So there's a real solid base there. It doesn't matter which defenders are playing. We always seem to be able to keep it quite tight, and obviously not conceding a goal shows that. So, but I think without Jack Grealish coming on against Germany, we might not have won that game. Yeah, we were a little bit lucky as well. If Werner had put his chance away in the first half, or if Muller had put his chance away in the second half, then things might have been a little bit different. But I think when you're going through a tournament, you need to get that little bit of luck. Every team that goes on to win a tournament will have a slice of luck along the way. It feels like England had a little bit of that against Germany, but that's not taking anything away from the performance of the players, who, for me, were excellent. And the nation are now starting to believe again. It feels a little bit like Euro '96. Where the nation were pulling together almost, and really starting to follow the football. Some of my friends and family who are not interested in football are really getting on board now, and that's great to see. Me personally, I'm really looking forward to the quarter final and what will hopefully be a run to the final. I'm not trying not to get too carried away with the fact that we're playing Ukraine and then favourable draw in the semi final after that. But I can't help but get excited. I feel like this England team has what it takes to get to the final. And then we'll see where we can go. But for me, the only changes that I'd make probably for England going forward is that Jack Grealish must start. I feel like he's done enough off the bench now to show that he's ready to be a regular in that England starting lineup. And then maybe is there a need for 5 defenders against Ukraine? But fair play to Southgate, fair play to England, and let's hope this run continues.
Hello guys at Up the Villa podcast. Thanks for having me on, Luke. Just to give some thoughts about England, really, because the group stages were somewhat underwhelming, and when you see England get drawn against Germany, the first thing you do is panic. We haven't beaten them in a knockout competition, of course, since the final, since when England went on to go and win it. It's been pretty grim since then. I know we beat them in 2001, but me personally, I don't remember that. I was only 2. Never seen us beat Germany in a competition like this, and being at the game, it was absolutely incredible. The atmosphere was electric from the get-go, and I actually think Southgate probably got his approach to the game fairly spot on. It was pragmatic, and I've been very critical of him using a 3-back, 5-back, however you want to look at his system in the past, but I feel like it was the correct thing to do against Germany. That's not just hindsight. I said this before the game as well, that we had to try and pin Kimmich and Gosens back with our own fullbacks, because that is where the real threat came from Germany. In previous games, obviously not against England, because Kimmich and Gosens were both fairly non-existent in this game. The fullbacks did a very good job of neutralising that, and I think the plan from Gareth all along was to sort of take it to that 60-70 minute mark where England is still in the game. You've still got a chance. We kept it tight. There was no goals conceded up until that point, and that's when he was clearly ready to kind of release the shackles on Grealish and really go for it, because I think in the 4-2-3-1, Jack starts 100%. Gareth being a bit more pragmatic, I think he can still start in a 3-4-3, give Jack less defensive responsibilities, allow him to stay further up the pitch and really influence the game when England, I almost said Villa, are attacking on the front foot. I think, it's potentially a completely different game if you start Jack Grealish, but him coming on and providing the space and the option of an extra man up front, because Luke Shaw didn't often overlap Sterling when Sterling was on the left. However, when swap wings, Saka came off, you saw Jack operate in the central spaces that Sterling was operating in, but it actually gave Luke Shaw more of a licence to overlap on that outside. And again, having that option just a bit closer to Kane for someone to lay the ball off to, that's how England got their first goal. Kane lays it off to Jack, he finds Shaw, it's a ball across to Sterling, and England are 1-0 up. And having that player who takes risks, he completely knows what he's doing, he's completely in control, he's completely dictating the game, knows exactly what he wants to do with that ball as soon as he gets it. That killer instinct is something that England didn't have until he came on. So it's remarkable. We obviously have Ukraine next. They went the distance in Glasgow against Sweden. It was very unlucky if you're Sweden, to concede in I think it's the second minute of the added extra time, which is absolutely crazy to have played at that point. You're looking at 120, 122 minutes of football. So it's very unfortunate. But Ukraine, we can't scoff at them. They're a very decent side. They've made it to this point. Alexander Zinchenko is, of course, someone who you're going to look at, who has, he scored a fantastic goal again against Sweden. He's going to look to try and influence the game. It's a bit harder somewhat at left back to do that. So if we, select the correct fullback, I believe it probably will be Kyle Walker, to be fair. I see England going back to a back four. So Walker will regain his position at right back. He'll know exactly how to deal with Zinchenko being, fellow Manchester City teammate. But it's not. This isn't an easy bye to the final. Switzerland proven that the scalp against France. These teams, they've got a lot to prove, especially against nations like ourselves. It's going to be very tough. But man, I can't wait. Football is coming home, boys.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm still on an absolute high for Wednesday evening. I feel like everybody's got a spring in their step, everyone's happy, there's optimism in the air, and as a nation we've finally got something to look forward to. England have arrived at Euro 2020 at last. The group stages, it was surrounded by a lot of negativity. There was a lot of negativity about the team selection, about the formations. The games themselves were very uninspiring, and after the Czech Republic game, I was worried that we was going to waste the talent in this squad. I was worried that we was going to get knocked out and go out with a limp. But my God, Wednesday was just totally inspiring. It was a fantastic evening. I seen that Dan from Heart of the Whole, he bagged himself a ticket. Very, very jealous about that. And I seen the pictures on Twitter after, big fat smile on his face in the ground, and it was amazing. And that just summed up the feeling of the nation. England fans have adopted our anthem of Sweet Caroline, and after the game the pundits were chatting and you could hear it ringing around Wembley, and they just stopped and paused and they just took it in. It was amazing scenes in the ground, the celebrations, the players doing the lap of honour. Oh my, it was just so good. Wednesday evening was, and there's been better England teams that have faced the Germans and lost, and Southgate is due a lot of credit. He's stuck to his guns. He's resisted any pressure from the media, from the fans, to play the likes of Grealish, Foden, Mount, Bellingham, switch from a back four to a back five, the two defensive midfielders. So he stuck to his guns. He's got a plan, and I totally back him, and I'm on board with it. And I cannot wait for Saturday. We face Ukraine, and they themselves are having an amazing tournament. They've never got this far. They've got nothing to lose, and a team that's got nothing to lose could be very, very dangerous. But I do feel we will win the game. I feel that they are at their limit. They're stretched. I feel they've got a couple of suspensions. They've got a couple of injuries. They played extra time as well against a good Swedish team. So I feel that our squad is fresh. Do you know what I mean? Grealish, he's had his cameo roles. Foden, we haven't seen him again since the Scotland game. Mount's obviously been self-isolating. So these players are fresh. These attacking players are fresh, and I think he will change it. I think he'll go back to a back four. He might change one of the holding midfielders because both Rice and Phillips are on a yellow card. So. But whatever team he puts out, I'm backing him, and I'm backing England, and let's do it. Let's get that result in Rome. Let's get back to Wembley. There'll be 65,000 fans in that ground then. My God, the atmosphere 45 generated was unreal. So add another 20k on top of that, and I think that's enough to see us through. I really do, and I think that will see us through to the final, and I think we're going to win it. I'm feeling so good about our chances now. But I realise this is England and we have got a history, but I don't know, something just feels completely different this time round. So come on England, let's do it.
Hi to all the Up the Villa podcast fans tuning in for this preview of one of the biggest games in England's history, coming off the back of a semi-final of a World Cup in 2018. Don't think you can underestimate really the size of this game. Ukraine away, quarter-finals of the European Championships in Rome. Probably, hopefully, our only away game in the tournament. Should we win, we're back to Wembley for the semi-final, and then the finals at Wembley as well. So huge game for us this Saturday night, and we've got Ukraine, as I say. Watched them the other night. I don't think they're anything special. They've obviously battled their way through to this point. I think they'll be over the moon about getting to the quarterfinals. They've got a suspension, they've got a few injuries, they went to extra time, so hopefully that's going to impact on them as well. They'll be missing a few players, will have had an extra day to recover. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. England winning a major trophy would be brilliant in my lifetime, and I'm hoping this is the year that it's finally coming home. I'm totally on board with Gareth Southgate now. He's totally changed my mind. Yes, he doesn't play the formation I would play, and he doesn't play the football I would like to see, but ultimately it's getting results, isn't it? So I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to ride the crest of a nation. Hopefully it'll only get bigger and bigger if we win this game. I'm confident we'll win the game. I'm confident we'll win it in 90 minutes. I'm hoping Jack's going to have a massive say in the game after his superb cameo coming off the bench the other day for England. I'm so buzzing for this game, it's untrue. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going for a 2-0 England win again. I'm hoping Jack will start and impact the game from the start. But ultimately, it's a squad game. I think Southgate, even Jack afterwards, he doesn't seem overly fussed with his role at the moment. I'm sure he would love to start. I'm sure as all of them would that aren't even getting on. I mean, Foden didn't even get on, did he? Sancho hasn't had a minute in the tournament yet. So there's so much quality in this squad, it's unreal. So I'm back in England. I'm back in Southgate. Come on, lads. Bring it home. Let's have a semi-final at Wembley to look forward to the following week. Come on, England!